Good morning and welcome to Morning Maths Day 7. So you just need your pencil and paper, copy my workings if you're learning the methods, and if you want to you can go faster than me and see if you can get accuracy, improve your accuracy. Let's go to day 7. So question 1 at year 3 level. Fast forward if you need to go to the other year groups. We have got a new type of question today here. 300 plus something plus 5 equals 345. 300 plus a mystery plus 5 equals 345. So I'm going to pop my hats on here. Units, tens, hundreds. We have 300, we have there. We don't know what's in here. Over here we have 5 units, don't we? We have the 5. So what's actually missing is the 4 tens. What is 4 tens? What is 4 times 10? It's 40, isn't it? So what's missing is 40, which means the answer is 40. And this time the answer goes in the missing box. Okay, so 300 plus 40 plus 5 makes 345. And what the answer was this time was filling in this missing box with the 40, because it was the missing part of this number, the 4 tens, the 40. That's a new type of question. We'll see that again in the next few days. You have a different teacher explaining things to you some days, but we'll see that again. Let's move on to question 2. Question 2, back to addition, normal addition. Column method, 534 plus 491. Okay, pause if you need a bit of time to copy that down. 534 plus 491. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 9 is 12. 5 plus 4 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Don't worry if you can't record it as fast as me. Just pause the video and get caught up. But please copy all the workings, record all the workings. 1025 plus makes things bigger, and what we had got bigger. Let's move on to question 3. This is minus 104 minus 75. 104 minus 75. Lined up down the right, of course. Units or ones, tens and hundreds. So minus, we start at this end, don't we? So 4, take away 5, you can't do. So we need to get some help for this 4. But there's 0 next door, and there's no help from a 0 because there's nothing there. I mean, it's an important 0, but there's nothing there to help us. So we go right to the end. This 1 goes down to a 0, and it can lend 1 here. That doesn't really help the 4 out much yet, but it will, because now the 4 can go to this 10, knock it down to a 9, and borrow or take 1. So we have 14 take away 5. That we can do. If you had 14 sweets, you could give away 5 if you wanted to. 14 take away 5 is 9. Over here in the tens column, 9 take away 7 is 2. And here we have this 0. You could write it, but it doesn't change anything. It's 29. You don't need the 0, it's just 29. 104 take away 75 is 29. Minus usually makes things smaller, and it did this time. Let's go on to number 4. 4 times 9. You'll use your times table songs for this. Hopefully you can know the answer before I've even written the question. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 and 28, 32, 36. If you count 4s 9 times, you get to 36, because 4 times 9 is 36. Pause if you need to copy. We'll move on to number 15. Number 15, we've got to share 16 between 4. 16 divided by 4. Let's go for some dots. in this nice claret colour, which Mr. Blom probably won't like, but I do. So these dots, we'll put them over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of these little dots. We're going to share them into groups of 4. We're going to share them between 4. I think I'll draw some little stick men today. Here's a stick man. He's going to get some of those claret dots. One here. One here. I need 4 of these people. I've only fitted 3 in, so let's put one down here. Division is sharing, so we're sharing 16 out between 4. Share 16 between 4. 16 divided by 4. So this guy can get one. This guy can get one, or they go behind them. Let's put one on each foot. So everyone's got one. Let's give them another one for another foot. It looks like we'll be able to give everyone 2. Let's put one on their hands. They get one, they get one, they get one, they get one. We're sharing it equally. Sharing 16 out between 4 equally. They can hold another one in their other hand. You're probably going to see what the answer is. It's how many of these little claret circles each stick man has, and the answer is 4. We shared 16 between 4. You can see each person got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay. Year 3, you might continue if you wish. And here's the year 4 level work. So we'll have year 4s on this and year 5 starting on this. Number 16, different question to the last time I was with you. And it's something plus 40 plus 4 equals 444. So this time we know the answer. They've told us the answer, 444, but there's actually a little gap in the question. There's a missing part in the question. Sometimes I call these a broken question. So, units, tens, and hundreds. Let's start on the units. So 4 units, well that's right here, isn't it? 4 units is there. 4 tens, 40 is 4 tens, isn't it? 40 is 4 tens. So we've got the 40. We don't have this in the question. We don't have the 400s in the question. 400s is 400, as you'll know from the questions we've been doing up until this point. So what the missing box needs to have in it is 400. 400 plus 40 plus 4 is 444. Some of you may be able to see that straight away. If you can, then great. But hopefully my explanation has helped you a little bit. If you don't get it, we'll be doing some more of these questions in the next few days. So just keep practicing, just keep recording what I record or what Mr. Blom records, and you'll get there in the end. Let's move on to number 7. The sum of. Well, sum actually means plus. A lot of time people in maths they say they're doing their sums, but they should only really say that if they're doing plus, because sum actually only means plus. So we are doing a sum here. We are doing a plus. 7,474 plus 7,474. So year 4 moved up to 4-digit work this year. 4 digits plus 4 digits is what we have here. 4 plus 4 is 8. 7 plus 7 is 14. Carried a 1. Make sure it says 14, not 41. 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. And 7 plus 7 is 14. So plus makes things bigger. It definitely makes things bigger. Wonder if you can say the answer in the next 5 seconds before I say it. It is 14,948. 14,948. And we'll move on to question 8. Pause if you need to copy. Question 8, it has this word reduced in it. Reduced, it means take away. Something we've got to learn. Take away. In takeaways, you'll want the biggest number at the top when you're doing column subtraction, column take away. 5,000 take away 1,500. Reduced means take away. So 5,000 reduced by 1,500. We set it up like this. So in the units column, it's 0 take away 0. That's going to be 0. In the tens column, 0 take away 0 is 0. In the hundreds column, 0 take away 5. It's not 5. We can't do this. 0 take away 5 you can't do. If you have no sweets, you can't give someone 5. So we'll borrow from this 5. It goes down to a 4. 1 moves over here. 10 take away 5 is 5. I know earlier I said it's not 5. Turns out to be 5, but we've done this borrowing. And if you didn't do it this way, it would go wrong. So it's important that you do the borrowing, and you do 10 take away 5 is 5. 4 take away 1 is 3. Okay, minus makes things smaller, so 5,000 went down by 1,500 and we had 3,500 left. Pause if you need to copy. We're on to number 9. 2 methods for number 9. I'm going to do grid and standard method for multiplication for times. 126 times 5. This is the word version of the symbol times, isn't it? Times. So, grid method first. To get my little X in the corner. 126, I'm going to partition it into 100 and 20 and 6. Smash it up into its parts. Partition it into its parts. That's why it's called partitioning, because it's in its parts, which are 100, 20 and 6. 100, 2 tens, 6 units. Multiply that by 5. 5 times 100 is, of course, 500. Or 5 times 1 is 5, place the 2 zeros. Next section. I'm actually going to change the colour so the answer is a different colour. Looks like we're going for claret today. 500. Over here, 5 times 2 is 10 and place a 0. And at the end, 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 100 was 500. 5 times 20 was 100. And 5 times 6 was 30. We've got to add them up. 500 and 130. It's going to be 630. I'm going to do it in the column method. Check that what I did in my head was correct. And there it is, 630. And I've got another check coming up now when I do standard method of 126 times 5. 5 times 6, 30. That's a 3. Remember that's a 3, Mr. Sewell. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 6. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we have 630. I'm pretty sure that's right. I haven't done it with both methods. If you're fast enough, one of the benefits of getting fast, if you're accurate, is you could do both methods if you had time and checked that you're right. On to number 10. This is share, which means divide. 428 divided by 4. It would take a long time in real life to share out 428 sweets or 428 little dots or something. I'm going to use a bus stop for a big number like 428. So how many 4s fit into 4? 1. 4 fits into 4 exactly once. How many 4s fit into 2? Does 4 fit into 2? No, you can't get 4 there. There's only 2. So it doesn't work. I'm supposed to be crossing that out. I could just rub it out, couldn't I? Doesn't work. That means we didn't use any of the 2, so we carry it on. How many 4s in 28? We can sing how many 4s in 28 if you know your times table songs, which I know you do. So how many 4s in 28? I'm going to sing 4s, count on my fingers and stop when I get to 28. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 and 28. My fingers are telling me it's 7. I'm pretty sure it is 7. So 428 shared between 4 is a 107. Let's move on to the year 5 level work. Here it comes. So question 11. Place value type question with some decimals could be a bit tricky. So what is it? 7 plus a mystery. I don't know how big this box is going to have to be. Plus 0.09 equals 7.89. So this is one of those questions where the answer is actually there. What's missing is some of the question. It's like a broken question. So if I look at the answer, 7, that is just normal 7 units. Let's put my hats on here. Units comes before the decimal point. These are, if I could squeeze it in, tenths and hundredths. So the units is taken care of there, isn't it? And there. Units is taken care of. That's where the 7 comes from. There's no 8 in the question, so something to do with 8 is probably going to go in here. This 9 hundredths is taken care of here. If I put my hats on this number 2, units, tenths, and hundredths. The hats really will help you to see that this 9 is in the hundredths column here and it's in the hundredths column here. So that's where the 9 comes from. So the thing that's missing in the question is this 8 here. And what is it worth? It's worth 8/10. That's worth 8/10. But we're not going to write 8/10 like this in the box. We're going to write the numerical version of 8/10, which is 0.8. If it would only fit in my box, it is 0.8. 7 plus 0.8 plus 0.09. 7 goes there, the 0.8 goes there, and the 0.09 goes there. Can be quite a difficult type of question, those. So we'll keep doing those each day. And if you're not sure of them, with practice, that's how you get things, with practice. So keep practicing. Let's go on to number 12. Don't think there's no point in doing the same thing every day. There's a whole lot of point in doing the same thing every day. That's where you're going to get your speed and your accuracy from in maths. Really, really important. And I find it takes a long time to get the required accuracy and speed from children. So it takes a lot of practice. Practice makes you better at everything. So here we have a plus we're adding 3 numbers. We're lining up the decimal point all the way down. Pause if you need time to copy that down. 9 plus 9 plus 9, otherwise known as 3 times 9, is 27. And again, 9 plus 9 plus 9, 27 plus 2, 29. And 3 plus 4 plus 5, what's that? 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 2 is 14. These are the kind of numbers you might see. You probably know where you might see these kind of numbers. 3.99, 4.99, 5.99, 5.99. It's in shops, isn't it? Prices often have a 99 on the end. I'm going to quickly round this and say this is roughly 4, this one's roughly 5, and this one's roughly 6. They're just below, aren't they? So it should be about whatever this adds up to. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So it should be about £15. It actually is very nearly £15 because it's £14.97. If this is money, I'm just turning it into money so I can estimate. It should be £15, but we lost 1, 2, 3p, so that's why it's £14.97. That's a little check that I've done now. We'll go on to number 13. Question 13. Take 345 from 2,687. So what number goes at the top in take away? It needs to be the biggest number. So it's actually the second number here. So sometimes you've got to figure out what number's going at the top in take away, but it's going to be the biggest number in column subtraction. That's the number that's going to go at the top. Whereas sometimes in the question the biggest number will be at the front, sometimes it will be at the end. This time it was at the end, wasn't it? So 7 take away 5, that actually works, that's 2. 8 take away 4, that's nice, that works, that's 4. Have I given you an easy question here? 6 take away 3 is 3, and 2 at the front. I think that's quite easy because it doesn't have any borrowing, doesn't need any borrowing. I will just check, 2687, 2687, take away 3, 4, 5. Just check, because I'm a bit surprised at how easy it is, but it turns out no borrowing required on question 13. Let's move on to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 7. 1,234 times 7. Always pause if you need time to copy, so you're not playing catch up the whole time. It's quite easy to write this quickly on the mouse, whereas with pen and paper it takes longer, I think. 1,234 times 7. So 7 times 4, that's 28. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23. Make sure I write 23, not 32, 23. Have I done this right? 7 times 4, 28. 7 times 3, 21. Plus 2, 23. Okay. 7 times 2 next. 14. Plus 2, 16. 7 times 1, 7. Plus 1, 8. Okay. Times makes things bigger. 1,234 is got a lot bigger. Times is very powerful when it comes to making things bigger. Just go over it quickly. Make sure it's all right. Make sure you've got all the workings copied down while I'm doing that. And we'll move on to question 15. Divide 5,922 by 6. So does 6 fit into 5? No, 6 is too big to fit into 5. So no, 0 for no. Carried a 5, which we didn't use. How many 6s in 59? That's a bit big for a carried 5, isn't it? I'll try and make it a bit smaller. Don't know if that worked. How many 6s in 59? Well, it's a lot of 6s. I'm going to sing my 6s, but I mustn't go past 59. So 6 and 12, 18 and 24, then 30, 36 and 42, 48 and 54. That's as many as I'm going to get, up to 54. My fingers are telling me it's 9 when I counted up to 54, but there's a bit of a remainder here from 54 up to 59. It's quite a few, so do a number line for this because I feel like that. 54 up to 59 gives me a chance to remind you to not count the one you start on. So when you're going from 54 to 59, you don't count 54, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The remainder turns out to be 5, so it's 52. How many 6s in 52? Again, quite a lot of 6s in 52. I'll sing my 6s up to 52 or whatever I go up to. I mustn't go past 52. So 6 and 12, 18 and 24, then 30, 36 and 42. 48. That's 8 in 48. I'm not going to fit another 6 in after 48. So the number that the number that you count to on your fingers goes up the top. And I sang to 48, but this says 52. So I'm going to count from 48 up to 52 in ones. Start 48 and then 49, 50, 51, 52. I counted up 4. How many 6s in 42? 6 does fit into 42. 6 and 12, 18 and 24. Then 30, 36 and 42. It is 7. You will see that you can sing your way through the bus stop using your times table songs. And that's pretty handy if you're not sure on the bus stop, if you need more practice on that. I know many people need more practice on division because it's the last one you learned. You learned plus first, then minus, then times, and finally divide. So that's often the one children need a lot of practice on. Let's go on to the year 6 work. I have to get rid of my nice West Ham colours. Let's go on to number 16. Something plus 0.9 plus 0.01, all of that apparently adds up to 40.91. 40.91. These questions confuse me a little bit, so I'm going to put my hats on. Units before the decimal point, tens that is. Over here, tenths, 1 over 10, and over here, hundredths, 1 over 100. Some teachers write their hats like T for a little tenth, and hundredths for a little hundredth with the usual units and tens. I put these hats at the bottom. They're more like feet in that case, I suppose, just to show you that you could write 1 over 10 or you could write a little t. You could write 1 over 100 or a little h. They're both doing the same job. The main thing is that we can see this 100th is up here. So that's taken care of. I'm going to even put my hats on here. Units, tenths, and hundredths. These are the hats I prefer, the ones with the 1 over 10 and 1 over 100, but you can use whichever ones you want. So the 1 is taken care of. So I just put the 1 back like it was at the beginning. 100th, and we've got 100th, okay? What about the 9? Well, the 9's there. 9 tenths, isn't it? 9 tenths, yeah. 0.9, 0.9. That 9 is taken care of as well. I will put my hats on for this example because we haven't done many of these yet. Units there, and that's a tenth. 9 tenths, and there's 9 tenths. Okay, so the 1's taken care of, the 9's taken care of. There's nothing there in the units column. It needs to be there, that 0, but there's nothing in that column that we can use. So we have 4 in the tens column left. That's not taken care of in the question, this is the question, isn't it, inside the red part. The answer is down below inside the blue part. Okay, you've got the question and the answer. The question doesn't have that 40 in it, so I'm going to put it in it, 40. Because 40 plus 0.9 plus 0.01 is 40.91. So the missing number was 40. In this case, our answer, or what we need to write in the box in there, is 40. Quite tricky those can be, quite tricky. Number 17, combine. That's an interesting word. I think first used, if I'm if I'm remembering rightly, I think in the 2018 sets, they put combined in, and a lot of children didn't know what that meant. Combine basically means put together, so add in this case. So we're going to combine 2,324 and 2,273. We're going to combine them. 4 plus 3 is 7, 2 plus 7 is 9, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 2 is 4. Easy as long as you knew what combine meant, isn't it? If you know combine is plus, there wasn't even any carrying in this question. Not too difficult. I shouldn't get too arrogant thinking it's easy without checking. Let's make sure I have got it right. Very important to get the easy things right. If you're one of those people who gets very high marks in your tests, you'll probably know that when you get just 1 or 2 questions wrong in a test, it's not usually the hard ones you've got wrong, is it? It's usually easy ones where you've made silly mistakes. Number 18, 2 less than 1,001. My head's telling me this is 999. I'm going to check it on paper. 1 take away 2 you can't do. Going to do lots of borrowing. I know year 5s and 6s are very fast with their borrowing usually. 11 take away 2, that is 9. Here we have 9. Here we have 9. And here we have 0, nothing. I don't need to put it in. It's 999. So I did it in my head, and on paper they agreed, so I'm happy with that 999. Let's go on to question 19. 499 times 5. This is the kind of thing you might do while you were shopping. 499 times 5. Or in reality, what you would actually do, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just get rid of that decimal point, because as I say, with decimal multiplication, I'll usually line it up without the decimal point. This is how you'd line it up if it didn't have decimals, and then pop it in here. Because basically you don't line up decimal multiplication correctly. Like with plus, minus and divide, you always line up the decimal point. That doesn't happen in multiplication, because multiplication is a bit weird, bit strange, bit wrong you might say. That's why it's an X for wrong. You do it differently. So I would fill in the decimal point at the end once I've set it up for like 499 times 5. I'm going to make an estimate for this. If this was money, you would say £499 was very, very nearly £5, and 5 times 5 is 25. So this is probably going to be very close to 25. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 4, 49. 5 times 4, 20, plus 4, 24. 2,495. Well, that isn't close to 25, is it? 2,495 is not close to 25, because I haven't put my decimal point in yet. So how many decimal places in the question? 1 there, 1 there. That is digits after the point, decimal places. There's none in the 5 because it's got no decimals. So 2 decimal places in the question. That means we must have 2 in the answer, which means the point must go here. And 24 and a bit is actually close to my estimate of 25, isn't it? 24.95 is actually very close to 25. If it was pounds, it's only 5p less than £25. Let's move on to the last one. Question 20. I reckon there'll be a few people who make a mistake on this one. This is not 8 divided by 2. It says divide 2 by 8. Divide 2 by 8. That's what it is. It's not 8 divided by 2, which is 4. It's not 4. It's divide 2 by 8. That doesn't really work, but there's a lovely little trick, which I really like, of making this work. 2 is the same as 2.0, or 2.00, or 2.000, or 2.0000. However many zeros you want to place after the point there, you can. I like to place 2 for some reason, because it usually worked. So this is how you can divide 2 by 8. We're going to get a decimal answer, because if you shared out 2 pizzas between 8 children, they're not going to get a whole pizza each. They're going to get less than a whole pizza. So they're going to get 0 point something of a pizza. So how many 8s fit into 2? None. 8's too big to fit into 2. Carry the 2. How many 8s in 20? 8 and 16 is 2 when I sang up to 16, and then the remainder is 17, 18, 19, 20. I counted on 4. How many 8s in 40? 8 and 16, 24 and 32, 40. My fingers tell me 5. It's 0.25. So when you divide 2 by 8, which is 2 divided by 8, the answer is less than 1. It's just a bit, it's just 0.25. So be very careful with the order of the questions. This one was divide 2 by 8. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. The last one should be 0.25, and you can see how you've done. And that's it for another day. Pause if you need to check over these answers, and I'll see you next time.